around the year 1813, there was a great king living in a certain community in Gold Coast, now Ghana. This king was very powerful, great, and influential. Not too long, his territory was enlarged. The people were multiplied, and the man needed somebody who is very wise that could join him to reign his people and rule his community. So, one day, the king made an announcement and summoned all his people, great and small, women and men, before him. There was a mace in his right hand. He lifted it up and said, "I want one person who shall be able to take this mace from me and go to the nearby communities and the villages in exchange with a human being. And that person, I, the king, shall divide my kingdom, and I shall give unto that person 1/3 of my kingdom, and that person shall reign with me forever and ever." The place was very quiet because they couldn't get any single person who could come forth and collect the mace, because he had to take the higher wisdom, in fact the highest wisdom, to do that. They were asking themselves questions.
How can somebody exchange this common mace with a human being?
Whilst they were asking themselves questions, there was a man among them called Kwaku Ananse. The man came forth, came before the king and said, "My lord, I shall be able to do it, so give me the mace." So Kwaku Ananse took the mace from the king, went to his house and slept. Early the next morning he woke up and set off his journey. He deliberately got to the first community later in the evening. When he got there, he searched for a place where they are doing poultry farm. He got to that house, he greeted the man that is doing the poultry farm and told him, "My name is Kwaku Ananse. I am from so and so community and I'm heading towards the next community. But it is very late and you know this place, wild animals are roaming in the night, so please, I want to sleep your house. The next morning, I shall continue my journey." The man said, "Oh, no problem. As for a place you can get to sleep, but my only issue is this mace that you are holding. Where are you going to keep it?" Kwaku Ananse then said, "Oh, for the mace, I can just leave it in your poultry farm, but I want us to go agreement. If the next morning your cocks eat my mace, I shall take the biggest one and go with it in my journey." The man also agreed. He went and slept. Early the next morning he woke up, and as he planned, when he came, the cocks had already eaten the maize. So as he agreed with the man, he took the biggest of the cock and he said bye-bye to the man. He continued his journey to the next community. So Kwaku Ananse continued his journey and got to the next community later in the evening. When he got there, he searched for a place where they were rearing cows. He went to the man, greeted, and told him the same story, that he's called Kwaku Ananse from so and so community and heading towards the next community. Because it is night already and because of the wild animals, he can't continue. He prefers to sleep here. The next morning he shall continue his journey. The man said, "Oh, no problem. I'll get you a place to sleep. But what about your cock? Where are you going to keep it?" Kwaku Ananse quickly said, "Oh, don't worry about my cock. As for the cock, I can just put it inside the cage of the cows. But I want to go agreement with you. If I wake up the next morning and your cows have killed my cock, then I will take the big cow and go with it." The man agreed with Kwaku Ananse. He left the cock inside the cage and he went to sleep. The next morning, he woke up and he quickly came and checked the cage. As he planned, the cows had stepped on the cock and it was lying dead. So he told the man, and the man gave him a very big cow and he went with it. Kwaku Ananse continued his journey into the next community. When he got there, he met one family crying and going to bury their child that had died from snake bite. He told the family, "Don't worry yourself, please. You can give me the child, the dead body, and I will give you this big cow, and I'll go and bury the child myself." So the family looked at the cow and how fat it was. They were convinced. They agreed with Kwaku Ananse. They gave him the dead body and they took the cow. Kwaku Ananse quickly ran from that community into the next community. Deliberately, he got to that village very late in the night, as usual. And when he got there, he searched for a house that had a lot of children. When he got there, he greeted the man and told him the same story that his Kwaku Ananse from so and so community heading towards the next community. Because it is late and there are wild animals, he prefers to sleep here. The next morning he continues his journey. The man agreed and said, no problem. There's a place you can sleep. But what about your child? There's no place for him and he's sleeping too. Kwaku Ananse now said, oh, don't worry about my child. Just leave him among your children. Let him sleep among your children. But I want to have an agreement with you. My child, he fart a lot in the night. When he farts, they should beat him. But if your children beat him and he dies, the next morning, I will take the most handsome child and go with it. The man said, oh, no problem. My children will not even do that. So he agreed and he left the child in the midst of the children because he's a dead body and his body was already stinking. The scent was too much, and when he woke up, it was lying dead. He went to the man and said, I told you, your children have beaten my son and he's now dead. So as I agreed, you have to give me the most handsome guy and I'll go with it. The man agreed and he gave him the most handsome guy. Kwaku Ananse went with that child. So Kwaku Ananse returned to his own hometown, knowing very well that he has achieved whatever he came here to achieve. He went there with the child, and when he got there, the king had already gathered all his people waiting for him, and they were playing drums and dancing, and everybody in the village was amazed. The king, including his elders, were all amazed. How was it possible to exchange just a common maize with a living human being? So the king called forth Kwaku Ananse and asked him, how did you do it? And now Kwaku Ananse narrated the entire story to the king. And the king, being a truthful man, honest man, he had to obey his vows. So he divided his kingdom and he gave Kwaku Ananse 1/3 to reign with him as a wise person. That is how Kwaku Ananse succeeded in becoming a king, to rule 1/3 of the kingdom. My name is T.S. Osei. Subscribe to my channel for more videos. Let's meet in my next video.